Hello. In today's video, we'll learn how to set up Bybit chart auxiliary indicators and transaction fees. The chart setting method that we're going to talk about in today's video is a variety of settings and functions, and it's not an absolute indicator like all indicators, so please refer to it as an auxiliary indicator. Click on USDT Perpetual by mouse over derivatives. Then it will appear with the current screen. First, let's look at the RSI, Bollinger Band, and MACD sub-indicators. The RSI is an indicator used to determine overbuying and overselling of certain coins through the relative strength index. It is known as a common strategy to proceed with the sale if the RSI indicator is overbuy after setting the period, and to proceed with the purchase if it is overselling. You often don't know which part is the overbuying or overselling section. The RSI is between 1 and 100 and determines directionality based on 50. In this image, 70 or more is considered an overbuying section, and 30 or less is considered an overselling section. When referring to the RSI, it is important to note that the indicators can be viewed over several hours and the trend may look different depending on the time bar. In addition, there is a reverse trading method that sells at a high point and buys at a low point, and there is a trading method called divergence. Divergence means that stock prices and auxiliary indicators move in the opposite direction. Divergence is an advantageous strategy for finding a trend shift, characterized by an indication that the strength of the upward, downward trend will weaken and shift to the opposite trend. There are falling divergences, hidden falling divergences, rising divergences, and hidden rising divergences. Falling divergences, if the stock price rises and the RSI falls. If the stock is falling and the RSI is showing a rise, it can be seen as rising divergences. I'll show you how to set up the RSI in the chart. Click Indicators next to the chart time bar to search for the RSI. Select Relative Strength Index. Then you can see that the supplementary indicator is added in purple at the bottom of the chart screen. If you hover your mouse over the top left of the RSI indicator, you will see a list of settings. Press the gear icon to enter the settings. The RSI settings window appears. You can see that input's length is set to 14. This setting shows the RSI indicators by analyzing trends over a 14-day period. If you want to change it to 30 days instead of 14 days, change it to 30 days and press OK. Analyze trends over a 30-day period to show indicators. If you want to change the color, click Style to change the RSI auxiliary indicator lines to various colors, and adjust the transparency by adjusting the opacity from side to side under the color table. Next, let's look at the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band is an auxiliary indicator that can calculate the fluctuation width of the upper and lower limits as the standard deviation of the trend center line and analyze price volatility and trend simultaneously using the moving average line as the trend center line. When the Bollinger Band is set up, it is analyzed with an algorithm within the set period. Top and bottom lines and center lines. The top line here means the line above and becomes the resistance line. The middle line is the center line and the bottom line is the line below and becomes the support line. The center line becomes the support line when it is on the rise and vice versa when it is on the decline. If the width of the upper and lower lines is wide, it means that the volatility is high. If it's narrow, you can think of it as low volatility. If the 20-day moving average and standard deviation are set to 2, the center line represents the 20-day moving average, and the top line represents the 20-day moving average plus 2x the standard deviation, and the bottom line means the 20-day moving average, twice the standard deviation. Let's find out how to buy box tickets. A box circle is an area where the top and bottom lines are continuously horizontal for a period of time and the width of the band becomes narrower. The box gets narrower and the candle gets out of the Bollinger Band. If the top line comes out, it could be a buyout long signal. If the bottom line comes out, it could be a short selling signal. To set up the Bollinger Band, click Indicators next to the time bar, search BB, and click Bollinger Band. Then you can see the addition of BB in the upper left corner of the chart, and you can set up the Bollinger Band by raising the mouse cursor and clicking the gear icon. In input, length means the average travel line over a 20-day period, and mult means x2 of the average travel line set by length as the standard deviation setting. In style, you can also change the color of the lines. Lastly, let's talk about MACD. MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence and Divergence, which means convergence and diffusion of moving averages. In other words, it is an indicator of how close and distant the short-term and long-term parallels are. There are three main types of MACD: MACD line, signal line, and histogram. The MACD line is the value minus the short-term and long-term lines, and you can see whether the short-term and long-term lines are getting closer or farther away. The signal line refers to a set number of bisectors of the MACD, and you can predict the trend and the timing of the transition of the MACD. Histogram means the MACD line minus the signal line, and you can expect a trend change depending on whether it is positive or negative. Usually, when setting MACD, set it to 12 days for short-term bisector, 26 days for long-term bisector, and 9 days for signal lines. MACD has three trading techniques. The first trading technique is using the zero line. If the MACD line rises above zero based on the zero line, it implies an upward trend, and if the MACD line falls below zero, it can be seen as a buying timing, and if the MACD line falls below zero, it can be seen as a selling timing. The second technique is using the intersection of the MACD line and the signal line. If the MACD line and the signal line overlap and come up, it implies the timing of the acquisition, and this is called the golden cross. Conversely, if you go down from the overlap, it implies a selling timing, and this is called a dead cross. If you don't get a clue with this technique, you can check the histogram. At the point of intersection, the histogram can be seen as a timing to consider buying if it is positive and selling if it is negative. Lastly, there is a referral system called Referral in Bybit, and if you sign up by applying referral code, you can get a 20% discount on the fee. Access the Bybit website via the 20% discount on Bybit fees link in the More Videos section. After accessing Bybit's official website, if the number 18,499 is written in the promo or reference code column on the right side of the screen, the Bybit reference code is applied. In the case of the reference code, you can register or change it after signing up for a member, but the process is complicated, so we recommend you enter the reference code when signing up. If today's video was helpful, please subscribe and like. I'll be back next time with a video that will help you invest. Thanks for watching.